Welcome to the Three Paths Profits podcast, where we'll talk about business, finance, social media, and everything in between on our paths to profit. Three different people, three different side hustles, one common goal profit. My name is Kyle,
My name is Lexi.
My name is Amanda.
and we're your hosts. If you want more details about each of our side hustles, please check out our latest episode last week, which was episode 2. And to set the proper expectations for today's episode, our format will be as follows. We'll start today's pod with each discussing updates from our experiences over the last week and what our goals are for the upcoming week. We'll wrap up today's pod with a quick summary and some expectations moving forward. Let's dive in, and first we'll hear from Lexi.
I checked my Etsy stats and it looks like, so I realized like you could check the stats day by day. So I was seeing, it looks like through this past week I had 3 visits. So that's good. It means I'm still getting traffic, even though I'm not like promoting anything or really doing like adding any more listings or whatever. So it's still good, even with me doing kind of nothing on that end, that I'm still getting visitors and traffic coming into my website. So, um, I was thinking also too for more on the promotion side. I know for each listing, like you can add like as many photos or videos as possible. So I was kind of thinking like, how many photos should I be adding to each like listing, and does that make a difference to consumers? Just because I feel like I know I definitely like look at some of the pictures, but personally, I don't think it matters to me how many they have up. But I didn't know like if me just putting one photo of it makes a difference compared to me having 5 of like 7 different angles of it. So I'm not really sure if that's going to make a difference, but I'm going to kind of play around with it. So I did decide that I'm going to go with the cups for my bulk item that I buy.
We love
I
it.
did a lot of
Yep.
digging on where to find them, how many I can get in bulk, and pretty much just went into deep dive. Um,
Are
so
we going to get some pricing?
yeah, so I did look at pricing. I'm trying to look for the best bang for my buck, but also the best quality because like I know like you can buy like shit off Temu, and honestly, I just don't want to buy it off Temu because like one, that's so sketchy to me. Like
Yeah.
I know like everyone's kind of raving about Temu, but like it just doesn't seem like necessary for me to do that. Like I'd rather get a better quality. And then also, I thought it was funny too. Like you could even buy it like bulk off of Amazon. And I was thinking like that those are the people like you could get the discounts from the being an Amazon business. They're selling them right back at you in bulk for just a little bit more to get that like
Oh,
extra
yeah.
money. So
Tiny margin, still margin.
exactly. So I was thinking, I was kind of giggling to myself at that because I was like, that could have been me whenever I once wanted to do that. But so once I think
Still could.
yeah. So, I mean, yeah, that always could be still an add-on to my Etsy shop.
Yeah.
But we'll say for now, I guess my goal for like this upcoming week on just the cups is to really purchase them. And then I kind of want to, I'm going to do the promotion side of giving out some to like friends and family, like we were talking about last pod.
Make some shout
Yeah,
outs.
give some shout outs, have people like post my Etsy shop, things like that. So I think I'm also going to try to reach out to a couple different friends or family and ask like what they would want on the cup, just to kind of see like if they have like a certain like quote or if they want a certain logo or whatever, and then be able to kind of go from there, just so I can kind of have that ahead of time, so when the cups do come in, I'm locked and loaded, ready to go. um I could also, I was thinking about it too, like go to the Dollar Tree for like cups in the beginning. Like if I wanted to start making them like right away, even before it comes in. Like I know honestly, like everyone like downplays the Dollar Tree, but like they actually have some good shit every once in a while.
Yeah.
There,
Dollar Tree
there's
slaps.
there's a lot of good DIY stuff on TikTok for Dollar Tree hacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, honestly, like I could even go there and buy like cups in bulk if I want to do certain things like
Yeah.
that. So I was thinking too, like I could probably just go there, snag a few, and like start now
Like a
rather than
trial run.
waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of trial it with those things like that. Um, and then I was also kind of thinking, playing around with the idea of, does it matter if it has a lid, or in a straw because I know a lot of people are obsessed with like straws and lids and whatever. So I didn't know like if I should do kind of like a mixture, some without, some with, just because I know obviously people have preferences, whatever. Because I know so many people like straws and other people are like, no, I just want it straight out the glass. So I'm thinking of kind of doing a mixture with that. And then also, I was thinking if I do like a quote or a logo, I know like it's not like full like copyright if I put it on a cup, but like would I ever have to worry about that? Like if I'm doing it in like
Mm.
such bulk orders. Like if someone like just wants a logo, would I have to worry about that? Like that kind of thought kind of came to my mind and I was like I don't really know honestly.
I think it depends on what it is. Like NFL stuff, I know is licensed. Like if you see on like a website, like if you're trying to order a t-shirt or something, if it says licensed merchandise,
Yeah.
that's when I think you can't like reproduce it.
Okay.
So I think you would have to look and do your research and due diligence in that aspect and
Yeah.
see. So it all depends, I think, on what logo you're trying to
Yeah.
put on a cup.
I mean, especially yeah, because some people might want like a team cup for like the
Yeah.
Steelers or the Penguins or whatever.
It's probably going to be, yeah, very popular.
Yeah, so like then that kind of made me think about okay, so like even if I'm just like still adding their name, that's still using their specific logo
Yeah.
that I'd be taking. And even if like I mean a lot of the logos, like I did a Bush Light thing for me and Kayla, one of my friends, and
Right.
I
It's different when it's personal use though. Like you made that
yeah,
for you guys. Yeah.
yeah. And I mean, I did have to pay for the logo, but again, I don't like
Oh, you
it's
did?
still I did, but it was like 30 cents, a dollar or
Okay.
something like that. It was very cheap. But again, I did have to buy the logo, so I don't know if that makes a difference if I pay for the logo, not just getting it off like Google.
So
So,
that's a good question actually. That might be the loophole where if you pay that 30 cents per whatever cup you want to make,
yeah.
granted that is 30 cents that takes out of your profit, but like 30 cents whatever, but that might be the way that you can still do it.
Yeah. So I'm kind of like playing around with that, trying to figure out like what I would need to do. Like if someone says, I want this type of cup and I run into that issue. So I'm going to kind of do some more research on that as well. Um, and then I'm definitely going to in the future start posting more on like my Pinterest and also Facebook, how we kind of talked about like Facebook's more like buying rather than like Instagram. I think I'll promote some of my like things on Instagram, but really try to like fully sell on Facebook, like direct link to my Etsy shop and whatnot. And same thing with my Pinterest. So I think those are the two I'm going to kind of start with in the beginning. And I don't think at this moment in time I want to pay for like a premium part of Pinterest or Etsy yet. I think I kind of want to play around with like shout outs.
How much does that cost?
It kind of depends. Like Pinterest, it's like it's a weekly thing, but you also can like pick and choose what you want to go with it. I haven't looked into purchasing anything on Etsy, so I don't know the pricing for that. But Pinterest, I think, was like $7 a week or something like that, depending on, again, what you have them promote and what all you're using.
It's pretty cheap though.
It is cheap, but I don't blame you too for just wanting to like play around with it because especially when you're in the beginnings of making stuff, like you kind of want to do trial and error and see how things go. And then once you
Yeah.
really got to go, and then that's when you want to promote because then you know like your stuff's really good, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. And I think, especially now, too, since I'm so new, I'd rather have like
Yeah.
the giveaways and the
Get some
things.
experience before you leverage that
Right.
stuff. Yeah,
Right.
I'm with
Exactly.
that.
Yeah. So
I do think at some point, like sooner than later, you should do those things though, because that's pretty cheap, and that's one of the things like you're saying, Amanda, trial and error.
yeah.
Try it out,
Yeah.
see if it
Yeah.
works.
I definitely
Get
think
those
I wanna
gangbusters, keep
start
going.
the more bulk items and, like, things like that, do the promotions with, like, friends and family first, and then that'll be kind of, like, probably my next phase is then purchasing something through either Pinterest or Etsy, depending on which, to kinda get my stuff at the top of the list when people search things. Summing up the goal is really just, like, ordering the cups, posting more on social media, getting the promotions out, asking a few friends to kind of see like what they'd like, maybe even kind of go to Dollar Tree, be able to get those kind of cups. I even know that I have a couple mason jar cups downstairs now that I could do a couple things on there too, just to kind of see, just to start to post random things on the Etsy shop. And again, it is only 20 cents a month for per listing that you have, and that's honestly minuscule for a couple cups
Right.
if I post that. So
Right.
I think,
It's 20 cents per listing. So each individual item that you list, it's a 20-cent charge.
yep,
But once you list it, is that like a reoccurring
yep,
expense?
yeah.
Per
Every
month.
every month per listing is
Yeah.
20 cents.
So like
So
even if you only have what, let's say 5 for easy math.
Yeah.
If you have 5 listing, that's $1 a month. Like that's
Exactly.
nothing.
Yeah, that's it's genuinely nothing. It's like
Yeah.
strictly just to keep it active
Yeah.
so that when people go in, like they can still see it and be able to buy it.
Yeah.
yeah.
And like again, that's so minuscule that I can post a few cups and be okay to kind of just really get the foot into it. And I think I'm gonna do
That leads me to one of my questions of like, what are the margins looking like to be able to just like take hits like that? What does it cost you to make a product like this?
the mason jar cups that I got. I got them in a pack of 4, and I think it was like maybe $10. All of the Cricut stuff, my whole pack with the whole Cricut and like my starter like paper, vinyl, all the things like that. I think it was like four or $500 with like all of the
But
tool
so
kit.
but like per thing. So let's say you use, I don't know, a quarter of a sheet of vinyl for one thing. So what do you think that's like $1 maybe?
Like an average cost per
Like
unit?
what?
Okay, so average cost per unit, I'm gonna say is probably like 7, 6, 7.
Yeah, because you got to take aside the actual Cricut itself, because
Yeah.
that, sure, you invested that in this, you can say that,
Well,
but
yeah,
like,
I'm just more saying
Are
like
you putting any labor at all into that 7?
yeah,
no,
Like, are you
probably like an hour.
associating any-
I'd say like I'd say 7's probably closer with labor than 6 would be. Because at the same time, like honestly, it doesn't really take me that long, especially to do like one
Yeah.
cup.
Well,
Say if it takes
and from
you
what I know of looking at stuff on Etsy, you could easily sell a mason jar like that for 12, 13, 14, 15
Yeah.
plus.
Yeah, for sure. I
So
mean,
that's
honestly,
double.
like when I
but it takes you an hour to make one?
no,
Is that what
a
Amanda's saying?
man, it doesn't take me an hour to make one. I would say start to finish, 20 minutes, depending on the design of the Cricut, like of the what is coming on the Cricut.
It would definitely take me an hour. So
I would say also too, Amanda, the last time we tried it, we were trial and erroring with like every single like font and like the size. Like
we also had a bit of beverages that day.
that is very true. So we were kind of like in slow-mo, like just trying everything and whatever. So
Yeah.
I also think too, what I'm gonna do is I don't know if you guys have seen like the armor etch like thing that we're what you can do on a glass cup is you can make it look like frosted in certain areas with like a certain design.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I also think
Yeah.
yeah, I showed you that I think Amanda the last because I think I got that whenever you were here actually.
Yeah, because we went out early by the airport or something. We were
Yep.
shopping around at like IKEA and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've made a few with that, and I think I definitely want to use that too, not just the Cricut stuff, because I really like the look of that because
Yeah.
it's not like a crazy thing in your face, but it's still like a nice design on a cup.
Well, and so I don't know if this is the exact same thing. I would have to go back and watch the video again. But so like on like a Stanley type cup that's like that stainless steel, but it has like a film around it for the color, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Is that the same thing where you like put it on and it like eats away at the film, and then like whatever you want the design to be is just left as like the stainless steel? Have you seen that?
Yeah, it's kind of I wouldn't necessarily it's like it like etches with like these little balls and like the stuff that you put on it, like the armor etch. It like etches the glass to stay
Okay.
frosted. So like it's not like as obviously it's not like engraving. Like it's not going to come out exactly like as if I engrave the glass to be like
Right.
super prominent, but you can definitely still see it. And if you leave it on long enough, it's more prominent than like if you just leave it on for a couple minutes.
Yeah.
So I know the one that I left on for I think it was like 10 minutes did turn out really good. Like you can see it in all different lightings if you have drinks in it, things like that. So I would say it's kind of in between like it's a step behind like actual engraving, I guess I would say.
Yeah. So I have one question and one kind of comment, I guess. So
Okay.
back to the one of the first things you said about the pictures.
Yes.
So I know when I've looked at a lot of stuff on Etsy, a lot of times within the pictures of the post,
Yeah.
it's like examples of font or examples of the
Yeah.
different colors you could get. So that was my only suggestion in that sense, that who cares how many pictures you have of the actual product itself, but include within the post visuals of all the different things that you can do, because that
Yeah.
I really like when Etsy posts have that, because you can
Yeah.
actually see and kind of get an idea of what the end result's actually going to look like.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, and I definitely think that would be beneficial just to for
Yeah.
people not to just guess and assume of what it's going to look like.
Yeah. And then my question is, with the kind of giveaway aspect, do you feel weird at all posting for your Etsy shop on your personal social media?
No, I don't think so, honestly, just because like it's all stuff like to me that like I don't really care if people judge me for it. Like to me, like that's my enjoyment. I find it fun like creating these things. So like if someone wants to be like, "Oh, that's so stupid." Cool. Like go find a new hobby to go make fun of. Like I don't care. Like it's not going to hurt my feelings. Like it's something to me that like I enjoy, and if I can make someone happy for creating them, like making something for them, then oh well.
Okay.
Sounded like a very self-interested question. Amanda.
Well, so no, I have opinions on that regard because of my path to profit. So I was just curious.
Yeah, that's what is your opinion
I'll
on the?
touch on mine whenever it gets to my turn.
Okay.
I mean, I definitely think it would be harder to post on a page though if I like just made like a anything Cricut Co like Instagram or like Facebook. Like I'd have no following to them post or do a giveaway with.
Yeah. Right.
It'd be kind of irrelevant to make one and then post that if I have no backing on that following.
Fair. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that idea actually, to like get a few posts to go get a few followers and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
start posting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me
I'm
wrong,
with
I'll
you.
make them, but I'm not gonna do like my first couple post giveaways on
Right.
like my that page or that whatever, just because again, I feel like that would be irrelevant with no following.
Lex, I had another question.
What's up?
What are the limits to the customization that you can do with this shit?
I don't have any because I could go out buy any color of vinyl or paper, or I could
Yeah.
do like glitter paper, I could do like foil paper, I could do kind of pretty much whatever. I could do permanent vinyl, semi-permanent vinyl. I could do like anything on a shirt. I can iron on stuff.
I would say your
Um
only limitation is the licensed stuff aspect, but if you can just pay for the license to
yeah.
use it, then that wouldn't matter.
Yeah, I mean like you can also purchase like a premium subscription in Cricut to then buy all of the things that they have in Cricut to also use on there too. Like you can
Mm.
only get like certain fonts or certain pictures for free, but
It's
like
like
you can pay.
that's like Canva. Canva is the
Yeah,
same way.
exactly. So I honestly would say there really isn't much limitation. Again, I would be surprised if I couldn't do some like a request that someone had, unless
So there's not going to be a request that you could get and you could be like, sorry, it's not something I can do.
correct.
I'm still I've never even seen a Cricut. I don't actually know what the device looks like. So
Yes,
it's
you
hard for me
do.
to-
You were there. You literally said bye to us as we were making the mugs in her room.
Oh yeah, you're
It's
right.
also
you're
too
right.
though. There's a bunch of different types of Cricuts. Like I have the Explore 3, but like there's so many different types that
I think
like
that's what I have too, but I've never used mine.
we literally I think have the exact same one, Amanda.
Okay.
But yeah, like there's so many different types that like I think it just depends. Like at least for mine, like I could use whatever type of paper, and you can get whatever type of little like needle you need to then be able to use whatever type of paper or surface or whatever you're etching on with that
Yeah.
little needle to do whatever you need to.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that goes into this little Cricut thing.
Oh yeah, like you could spend hundreds
Oh yeah.
upon hundreds like buying every little bit and tool that you could freaking use with this thing.
I'm googling.
Yeah,
It's
it's probably better I've never used mine because once I actually started to use it, I'd be like, oh, I want this. Oh, I want this. And
That's exactly what I do. I'm like, oh, well now I need this paper. Well now I need this thing. And
Yeah.
I'm like, no the hell I don't. What am I gonna use that for?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually really bad how much I just want to get absolutely everything. But
Well, invest. You're investing in your Etsy shop now. It's not
Exactly.
for you personally.
yeah, now it's not just, oh, I have it.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, that kind of sums it up unless y'all have any more questions for me.
I think Young Money's up.
No,
Okay.
I guess I'll dive in here. So today I'm going to be reviewing where my status is with my trades and my IBKR account. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about just some basics of the fundamentals of trading, like what is a call option, what is volume, like what does those terminologies look like, and how do I use them. And then I'll talk about some goals for next week and what I have coming down the pike here. So the interactive brokerage account that I have, I only got the money in because they had to do like a small deposit and like go back and forth to make sure that my bank account was good. I only got the money in yesterday. So I have $1,000 deposited. It's ready to go. I'm ready to trade. But that means I don't have any official trades to report yet. But I did scout one.
Still progress.
It would have been a trade. Yeah. I was spotting. Ironically enough, though, and this is intriguing, I did spot this trade using Robinhood, probably because I'm so familiar and I use that app daily already just as a habit. So I did scout this trade, oddly enough, with Robinhood, not the IBKR mobile app. So that's just something to note. But I will try to use the IBKR app more because I want to get used to it. But I spotted this. It's a $13 call for about 2 months out from today, like a 5/17 expiration date. And I'm going to go over these terminologies after. That's kind of why I wanted to review those. And the strike price, like I said, was $13, and I would have paid 89 cents per contract, which means $89. And by the time I went to sell it or said I was going to sell it, it was at $1.25 or $125. So it would have been like a $36 profit. It did go up higher quite a bit, and I would have made more if I didn't sell at the time I did. But it was cool to see that it was a profitable trade because a lot of the times on the first day of one of those trades, you're not going to see that big jump. You're really waiting for like a 5 to 10 day window or even longer sometimes for that trade to develop. And it happened within like 2 hours. I set the stop limit that I talked to you guys about, and it just said executed. I was like, shit, all right, I got like 30% trade, and it was good to go. And that's cool on the practice side, but I'm definitely eager to start putting the trades in there and see what we can get going on Monday here. So that brings me to what is a call option. Do you guys know what that is?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I know we've talked about it before, but like I don't know how much you guys remembered or anything like that. And it's probably good for anybody who listens to get this intro because it's not something commonly talked about. An option call is the right to buy and the right to an underlying asset. So basically, we're making a contract together that says, I'm going to buy 100 shares of Snapchat at this agreed upon price on this day from you. Okay. And I'm going to pay you for that right. So I'm going to pay you that $89.
Okay.
And we make that agreement, right? Snapchat's stock price goes up today, now getting closer or higher above that price that we agreed upon
Okay.
to buy 100 shares at, right? So my call option then the worth of our contract then goes up. And because we have a contract, I can sell it in the open market. So I can sell that obligation to somebody else for a profit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're betting on the underlying asset's price movement by leveraging this idea of a contract or the right to buy or sell these shares at a certain price. But yeah, that's what a call option is. That's what that trade is. And I usually buy calls. So as the episodes go on, I'll talk about other trading strategies and other instruments like the call option. You can buy calls, you can sell calls, you can buy puts, you can sell puts. You can do a lot of different spreads and things like that. I'll get into those as we go on, but predominantly what my experience is and what I'll be using in this account are buying calls and buying puts. So I'm basically I'm buying the right to either sell or buy shares at an agreed upon price, hoping that the price is going to go one way or the other. The next is volume. Volume is like I talk about a lot. What I'm looking for to make a trade is based off of, we talked about technicals, not fundamentals. Technicals are, you basically go onto a graph like this. I'm going to share my screen here.
You love this feature.
Hmm.
Sweet.
I don't know that I'm ever gonna use this feature.
Yeah, I don't think I'm ever.
Dude, you guys don't, I do this at work. You guys don't share screen?
I don't. I'm not behind a screen at work. I'm in front of their faces.
That's fair.
Yeah. I mean, even though like I'm still not always in front of people at work, I still feel like I don't have the need to, I guess.
I would share my phone. If I could share my phone to my computer, I would do that for the podcast because for mine, I'm going to go over like views and stats and stuff, but I don't know how to do that.
I guess I
I feel like
probably
you definitely.
could with my Etsy shop stats and like, but
I think it's cool.
It is cool. Continue.
yeah, sorry.
All right.
Project.
So this is the Traders Workshop, is what they call it. This is what you download to your your desktop, and then you upload this to make all your trades, chart all your graphs, and do all that. I'm not very good with this yet because this is much more in depth and just has more options and features to it than anything that I'm used to using Robinhood or E-Trade. Both those are like super simple and dummy proof. So I'm just getting familiar with it, but this is the graph I've been playing around with. It's Snapchat, like I talked about. That's one of the tickers that I'm going to be using. And you can click this and look at interactive brokerages. You can look at Disney, Apple, any chart. And then you can pick any time period, both for what these are called candles, which signify price movement and volume. And this is like the time frame. So as I zoom out, like it increases and shows more of the graph. You have your prices on the right, and then you can draw on here. So these are called trend lines. Like if you would draw a line like this, say it's trending up, you can make like floors where prices are coming down to test and retest as they hit other levels and things like that. So this is what technical traders do. This I don't really get into that much.
It's the
I'm more or
line of
less.
best fit.
What's up?
It's the line of best fit.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's more or less using math and like trends to be able to predict what it's going to do in like the immediate short term. Like
Yeah.
they're literally trying to predict this move or this move in the next minutes, right? Like that's true day trading, which I might get into at some point, but that's not really what I'm trying to do because I have a full-time job and I don't have time to just sit here and stare at the screen. I have to do a lot of my stuff out of market hours and just in general research, not sitting at a computer doing this. So I'm trying to do is zoom out and predict what does like a movement of 3 months look like this. So I'm buying a call that says, all right, I want to buy prices at right here, and I'm hoping it's going to go up to here, and my expiration's out here, so my contract value goes up. That's more or less what this graph is for. I'm not going to use it a whole lot because I don't really need to chart. I more or less am looking at news articles, financial earnings, all that kind of stuff, looking at trends in the fundamentals. So you can use fundamentals to day trade or momentum trade, as I call it. It's a cool feature. Here's my cash balance. So I have $1,000 in there. Net liquidity, $1,000. Once I start making trades, it'll all show up here. Has some market news, all that good stuff. So has all your orders and your summaries down here, and then general knowledge on the ticker symbol of the company that you're looking at.
So
I will stop
I kind of have
sharing my
a
screen.
question. So if you have your call and you want to sell it on whatever day, obviously because the price is up, and then you
Mm-hmm.
hold off and the price is down, would you then continuously wait until the price goes back up again? Or like
That's risk management.
okay.
That's risk management. So like that's where like if it would hit a stop loss, then it would automatically sell, right? And if it would hit my limit, it would automatically sell. So if it hits those, it just locks it in.
Okay.
But say it's not doing either and it's trending low and like it's past the time where I thought I wanted to make a decision, that's when like your risk management comes in of like, are you going to cut this and just sell it at a loss, or are you going to hold out a few more days to hope for some more momentum to get things moving in the right direction? Did I answer that question?
Yeah.
I don't think I have any questions actually. You explained stuff actually pretty well. I was impressed.
No, yeah.
Thank you.
I just didn't know
Yeah.
like about when
Yeah.
things went down or up or whatever, if like again you had a idea or plan, but you saying like you have those limits or like
Yeah. I think it's
higher
cool.
lows.
I think it's cool that you can set it to do the automated aspect of it.
Me
Like,
too.
to me, that kind of takes away from the whole point of day trading, because I feel like day trading is like you talked about, where like people are like sitting at their computers all day, like watching it happen. And when you can do the automated thing, like, is that still day trading?
They say like if you're making more than one or two trades a year, you're a day trader. You're speculative, and you are too risky with your money. There are people who say that. I'm somewhere in between. So I'm trading. Like I'll buy something and I won't sell it for 1 to 2 months because a lot of these contracts that I buy have like a 6 month or even longer expiration. So I'm betting on like a 3 month time window of a price movement, which are based off of like the fundamentals of that quarter. Because every quarter they come out with their financial earnings, and that is always a catalyst for price movement. So I always have baked in one intrinsically important to that company news article that's going to come out about their earnings, and that's going to impact the volatility of the stock price. So I know that that's what I'm playing around, and leading up to it, there's going to be extra volatility coming to it. And then once it comes out, how it gets anticipated and broken down into the future projections of where the stock's going to go, that also is going to move the stock price around a lot. So that's why I look at it in those 3 month cycles or a quarter, because that's when those more company specific ones come out. A lot of people who day trade use like Nvidia or the S&P 500, which I will use the S&P 500 if I think it's just super high or super low for some reason. But most of the time I'm going to be using Snapchat just because I know it better than the whole economy as a whole. And like the whole economy can be going up and Snapchat can be going down. And that's what I like. I'm sheltered from whether the economy is doing good or bad, for better or for worse, because I'm betting on one individual company, which isn't relying on the economy being good or bad. My next trade is going to be Snapchat. Again, it's going to be very similar to the one that I just mapped out. It's going to have a close to, I like to use, so the strike price, which is that price that we agree upon in the future to trade the shares at. That's called the strike price, just for terminology's sake. I always like to put the strike price at or near the current market price. So like if Snapchat's trading at $12 today, I want to buy a strike price at 11, 12, $13, right around it. Because if this is getting into the weeds a little bit, but if we get to that date and the share price is below the strike price, right? So like you can buy shares at the current market price for less than the strike price, right? So I would just buy the 100 shares in the marketplace and then sell them to you at this price. Does that make sense? So the contract then just renders useless because you're not going to execute the trade. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like the only time that you're going to hold the contract to maturity, it's called an in the money option call, where like you can buy an option call that says the stock price of Snapchat today is $12. I'm buying a strike price at $10, which is below the current market price, and it doesn't expire for 3 years. So like it's already above that and you're buying it. It's a riskier play because if it goes down, it costs more to buy it, one, but you're guaranteeing, or at least closer to guaranteeing, that you're going to have it worth something
Yeah.
at what's called the expiration date
Yeah.
because you're below the current market price.
Yeah.
So the ones that I do are going to be like right at the market price or usually a little higher because there's more risk associated with them. There's more price action on the contract itself because these contracts are based off of supply and demand, not just the underlying asset, right? Like gas prices aren't directly correlated with how much supply there is. It's supply and demand both, and like it's the function of that determines these option prices, not just the underlying asset. So like that's why they fluctuate so much in terms of volatility, how far and how close they are to that strike price.
Mm.
It's like you can buy like that $10 call when the strike price is when the market price is already at 12. That's going to be in a 2-year expiration. That's going to be like thousands of dollars to buy, right? Because you have so much less risk in terms of it being out of the money. And then one that's like a $20 strike price, which is like $8 above the current market price, it's going to be like $2 because it's obviously not going to happen, right? Or at least it's very improbable. So that's why I kind of stay near the money, but a little higher. And that's what I'm going to be looking at for this Monday. Probably be sizing the trade, looking for something that's like $100, $200 in like the 3 to 6 month window. Yeah, and I'll have some updates next week. Another goal is to make a small profit next week, however much. Don't know if that'll happen because I may not execute the trade in the terms of the sale. I just plan to at least buy one next week. But if what happens today when I was looking at that stock, and like if it goes up and hits it, it'll execute in the same day. So that will happen sometimes. I want to play around with the IBKR app a little more and the desktop browser because this is definitely more than anything I've ever used so far. So I need to get familiar with it, know the technology, figure out how I'm going to use it effectively to implement in my strategy, basically. So that's what I'm looking for this next week. I'm excited to make my first official trade in IBKR, and I'll have some updates next week.
I love it.
Cool.
All right. I am going to start with a little bit of stats. Again, I'm gonna pull up my phone. So I did post one TikTok a day this week, just like I was saying I wanted to do the previous week. I did it both weeks. So this week it was all different parts of my kitchen renovation on TikTok. The views range anywhere from, actually yesterday's was the lowest, part 7, which is ironic whenever I get to Instagram in a second. Yesterday's was the lowest at 37 views, and then the highest was 119 views. So really they mostly ranged around like 90 and 100 views, but yesterday's and today's for some reason were low. And today was like the reveal, so I was expecting today's to be higher. But so Instagram, I did post day 1 and day 2 on Instagram as they were happening. So like I posted day 1 on TikTok the same day I posted day 1 on Instagram. Then same thing with day 2, and then I kind of forgot about Instagram in the middle of the week. And so then on day 7, which was yesterday, I posted 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on Instagram. I posted all of them at once. And 7 like took off, and I mean like took off for me, like it's not like it went like super viral. But so what I noticed though is 7 on TikTok, if you save the video to your phone before you post it, it doesn't save it with the watermark. If you save the video after you post it, you can't save it without the watermark. So it'll have like the little TikTok logo and it'll have my name on it. And so then if I go to post it on Instagram, somehow Instagram must know that it has the TikTok watermark on it, because it literally like has no views whatsoever. So yesterday, whenever I posted all of them up through day 7, day 7 was the first one that I remembered to save it before I posted it. So the only one without the watermark. And I got over 1,000 views on it. It has currently 1,113 views on it.
Ooh.
Like,
Hell yeah.
so good, right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, last night I was literally, and so that's why when we decided to not record last night and record tonight, this like was happening last night. All of a sudden it's getting like close to 500 and I'm like, what is going on? But it's for sure, that has to be, that's the only thing that makes sense to me as to why that one compared to the other ones has so many more views. So the other views on my Instagram, 1 through 6, have the lowest being 17 and the highest being 35. And honestly, I think it's people that of the 1,000 people that clicked on my profile to view the other
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
Because before that one started going, it was literally like 2 views, which is probably like my mom and the 2 people that follow my you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
nobody had viewed it. So that is one thing that like I really need to be aware of, is saving my videos before I post them, because that makes a huge difference on Instagram. And I get it, you know, like if you're Instagram and TikTok, you're 2 huge competitors in the social media world. You don't want each other posting each other's things, you know? So I just thought that was super interesting.
Those are some good stats.
Some good
Yeah,
stats,
I mean,
right?
Yeah, like
So,
that's a jump. Like that's
yeah.
like
Yeah.
triple digit.
I mean,
like
yeah, thousands. That's a lot.
Yeah. And I feel like I was like almost discrediting Instagram in a sense, that like I was so focused on wanting to post on TikTok. I wanted to get the views on TikTok that I like didn't really care about Instagram, but maybe I need to focus more on Instagram, you know?
I think you do. I think you do.
I mean, I definitely think it should be equal on both,
Yeah.
wanting promotions on both, of like
Yeah.
you want equal views. I mean, if one's going to bring you more, then obviously you got to give a little more love to that one,
Yeah.
but I definitely
Yeah.
think you should be posting as much as you are in one as the other.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Water
So
where the grass grows.
I definitely need to be better at saving the video beforehand, because that makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
And then just continuing to actually use Instagram. Period.
Yeah, if you save beforehand, that means that like if you save after, anyone can do it. Anyone can just watch the TikTok and save
I
it,
guess
right?
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like that's why you can make these like parody accounts and still get like thousands of followers
Yeah.
because you just literally post this from like the main account. They literally just save it and then post it and like clip it up
Yeah.
and like they make these
Yeah.
pages that are just fandoms and it's all just saved other people's content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just a couple other observations that I've made throughout the week is that on TikTok, I mean, I guess on Instagram too, is that I'm kind of really okay with having low views in the beginning. Like, I didn't set myself a goal with what number of views I wanted for, I think, a good reason. And I'm glad that I did because a year down the road, I'm probably going to look back at these videos and be like, these are complete trash, you know? Like, you're continuing to get better at things as days go on. And I feel like even in the last 2 weeks, I've learned a lot about the editing process, the creating process, everything that goes into it. So I'm not getting down on myself about the fact that there's only 37 views on my video today because who cares? You know, like it's a learning process. You got to start somewhere. And so like I think people that are starting TikToks and expect to go viral the next day are just setting themselves up for failure. You have to put in the time to actually get good at creating
On average, it
content.
takes 47 videos before it goes viral on average.
And like sure, hopefully I do at some point, but I'm not like saying okay, if I don't go viral by this point in time then I'm done, you know? Like you're continuing to improve, you're continuing to put out better content, and that's all that matters. Like eventually when the time's right it's going to happen, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like all the people that just like post because they like want to post or like that's
Yeah.
like they enjoy like things that they're doing. Like I've seen so many people be like, I did not expect that video to blow up. Like I went to bed, just like posted a TikTok. Next thing I woke up in the morning and it was like
Yeah.
it blew up. I mean, that happened with
Yeah.
Kyle.
Yeah.
Like when he
Oh
did his
yeah.
like beard shave thing. So I feel like
Yeah.
it's like when you least expect it and like you're just posting, all of a sudden like it
That
can
was the
happen.
least amount of effort I put into any of the videos I made
Yeah.
Yeah.
by far.
Like
It
Kyle and I put
was
in hours
hours
For
of
your
making
dances,
the
yeah.
video.
for
And then
like
Yeah.
30 views.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
for literally like 100 views. And then next thing you know, he's like, "Let me just shave my beard," and boom, viral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm really trying to like not look, I mean I'm looking at the views for the podcast aspect of it because I want to document it, but I'm
Yeah.
really not trying to look at it in the sense that like I'm not
It's
posting
not
or
it's
not.
not an equal representation of how you're.
So
That's a good way to look
yeah.
at it.
Yeah.
But so I know last week I touched a little bit on the engagement aspect of it and how it would really help to engage with the community the first 10-15 minutes before you post. I just feel like the time of day that I want to post my TikToks, I don't have the availability to actually do that. Because when I'm at work, I like I was talking about last week, I've had all my videos edited ready to go. So like it's ready to go whenever I'm sitting at lunch at work. And all I want to do is like actually post the damn thing. But I'm sitting there on my phone like trying to engage with the community and I have freaking 28 minutes for lunch. So like by the time I'm done eating, and then flipping through videos, I find like maybe one or two that I actually want to comment on. So it's hard. I know that it would be beneficial, so maybe I need to consider posting a different time of day. But for now, that was the time that
My question is, why do you think timing matters?
I don't think it matters.
Why does it matter if you why does it need to be 15 minutes before you post? Like why can't it be
The night before.
at
That's just
lunchtime?
what I
Yeah, like
that's
at lunch, you just comment and share and like and engage in all the different ways, and then they get back to you all throughout the day, and then you post whenever you want to post.
okay. I like that because the stuff that I've heard is that you should the first like the 10 or 15 minutes beforehand. So
Yeah,
I like
it's
that.
still a
That would
notification.
help me
It's
in
still
the
a
sense that
notification that they click it. They're like, "A or Cooking Depot Just,
Yeah.
Well, you could even do that. So immediately, like, do what Kyle's saying, like, during your lunch period, interact, do everything, engage. And then the minute you get to your car when you're leaving work, post the video.
And then at night, you can, as some people respond, as soon as they respond
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
So, but like,
Obviously, you're not going to do that with every episode or every video.
yeah.
I mean, I just feel like if you're trying to do it somewhat close in time, because that is what you hear is best, you
Yeah.
doing it at lunch and you doing it when you leave is not that far apart.
No, but so yeah, I mean, I could, I guess, do.
I don't think you should stress about timing. Is my point. I
Yeah.
don't think you should stress about it.
Okay, fair.
I mean, like, yeah, I know, like, you hear those things, but I feel like you
The
just engaging
activity
in
matters
general.
more, than when it gets done.
Yeah. Yeah, like, you doing it is more than just saying whatever
Just
and not
do the
doing
damn
it.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, do the damn thing.
do the damn thing. That's my line.
No messing
What
around.
I would like to do in the engagement aspect, though, one of the things I guess you could consider one of my goals is that I want to create more of like engaging captions kind of thing that encourages people to comment or, like say certain things just to kind of create more engagement on my post without really trying kind of thing. So that's one of the things that I'm definitely going to try to be more aware of this next week. I do feel like through creating TikToks and content that you spend more time actually creating and thinking about the things you want to create than actually watching TikTok. I honestly, besides sitting there during my lunch trying to engage in my community, like I really have not watched TikTok.
Yeah.
And I typically would sit there an hour or two before bed, I'd sit there and I'd scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and I just don't. I sit there in my bed and the hour before bed I edit the video that I made the day prior or something. I don't know.
I would say this is kind of going back to like your your captions that you want to be more engaging. You could do like the tag a person you want to cook this meal with, or
Oh, I like that.
like something like,
I'm gonna write
or
that
like
down.
tag something, like tag someone you want to do a DIY project with. Just something like where it's like telling them to tag people, because then obviously the more they tag people, the more they're going to be like, oh, what was I tagged in? And they're going to go watch it.
I like it. I love it.
And then they're going to tag somebody else.
I wrote it down.
It's not just who do you tag, it's who do they tag.
So there's also this feature, I haven't tried it yet, but this is also something that I want to try, that when you go to post, you can like tag other videos. So I also want to try, because a lot of times like the recipes I'm making sometimes aren't exactly from someone else, but a lot of times they're inspired from someone else. So I want to try connecting the video with that tool to someone who has a much bigger following and seeing how that impacts the views as
To be
well.
like
So
inspired by
yeah,
whatever, like whoever it is.
which I did in my one post the previous week, not this past week, but the first week that I was posting, I did tag one of the girls that I follow that posts a bunch of food stuff. I did tag her in the caption, but it's like a separate thing, like not just in the caption. It's like you can like link videos to it. So to like link my video to someone else's, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's cool.
I've not heard of that. That's cool.
Yeah. So there's a lot of cool features on TikTok that I just haven't,
which like makes it a
you
lot
know?
easier for people that don't have as much following to then be able to like, again,
Yeah.
link up with people that do have a lot of following.
Moving on. What else did I want to say? Oh, I also this is gonna sound super lame, but like I feel like I want cuter things in my kitchen when I make videos. I see people with like these cute like measuring cups and and my measuring cup's like bright ass green, okay? So it's not cute. And so through making videos, I find myself wanting to buy new things For example,
Investments, just like Lexi said, or
Yeah.
just like you said to Lexi, it's all investments.
and true. And so, for example, I went last week and I bought I threw away all my Tupperware. I had been wanting to switch from plastic Tupperware to glass because it's so bad for you to microwave stuff in plastic. So I've been wanting to get rid of that. And I used an excuse of the fact that I could make a TikTok out of cleaning out my cabinet and putting new glass Tupperware in it to make a TikTok so that I could justify buying it. Because now my cabinet looks cute. Now when I go to meal prep, the dishes I put it in look cute. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna find myself buying a bunch of new things, which the stuff I have in my kitchen.
Investments.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, that's also things like you genuinely will be using like on a
Yeah.
day-to-day basis when you cook.
Just
So
it's just the cost of doing business.
Yeah.
It's the cost of doing business.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's all the random things that I wanted to say. So now I guess just my goals for the next week. I want to continue to just post once per day. And then just naturally improve the content that I'm creating through those posts per day. So the first week I did all food, and then this past week it was 8 parts of my kitchen DIY. So from here on out, I'll probably kind of make it sporadic of food this day, DIY this day, and make it more mishmash. But as long as I'm posting once per day, that's my minimum that I'm setting for myself. I do want to make an effort to use Instagram more. I really would like to make a schedule of certain posts that I post every week. So, like, for example, if on Sundays I do a photo dump of all the meals that I ate that week, or if on Thursdays I do Throwback Thursday and I post a meal that I made forever ago that I want to try to make again, like something like that I do on a weekly basis. That's not necessarily reels, that's just a picture post.
Yeah.
I want to set up a schedule for myself so that it's consistent and I have deadlines for myself and expectations set for whoever wants to follow me so that they know what's to come, stuff like that. So that's one thing that I want to create this upcoming week. And I also want to utilize stories on Instagram, which stories are not very helpful when you don't have a lot of followers. I think I only have like 7 or 8 followers right now. But like just to start, just to get in the habit of doing it, I'd like to. Yeah, go ahead.
I guess that kind of goes into the question that you asked me about
Yeah.
would you post it on your personal?
So yes. I don't know why, but I feel weird. I do. I don't know. Because
I don't at all.
what?
Yeah, I just don't
at
care.
all.
Because like if you think about it too, like once we actually start like sending out these podcasts and really just like showing people, hey, follow along with our journey here.
Yeah.
You're saying you're
Yeah,
not going to post this on
that
your
to your
you're
No,
not going to
yeah.
add this to your.
I don't think anyone should feel weird because if you're not making content in 2024, what the fuck are you doing with your life, honestly? But at the same time, I don't know. Like I don't know why I feel weird. I just need to get over it and I need to do it.
I mean, I think it's probably one of those things though, just because everyone's so fucking judgmental. I mean,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, like everyone has a thing to say, like, and 90% of it is irrelevant. Like the
Yeah.
only part that you really need to be looking at is the people that are genuinely going to give you constructive criticism and the people that are supporting you. All the other people, or if they
Well,
don't want to,
yeah.
if they don't want to look at it, who the fuck cares?
And
Like,
I genuinely don't typically care what people think. So I don't know why that is like the line for me. I don't know.
I think it's just
I just need
because
to get over it.
I
Once I post it once, then I'll be fine.
I think it's also
Me
just
too.
because though everyone put like Instagram on this pedestal, like every post had to be perfect, every this.
True.
Yeah,
Your
True.
image
true.
Yeah.
had to be so amazing. And if not,
Yeah.
like and you posted one bad picture that you looked like you were photoshopped or too fat or whatever, like people were gonna judge you.
Yeah.
So I think it's getting over like it's not just this image anymore. Like that's not what Instagram is not what it used to be. So
True.
I think it's like getting over that like you don't need like this specific image for yourself on there. Like I feel like once you get over that, then you can be like, who the hell cares? But I definitely like I feel like for me
All right.
personally, like I don't care.
All right. I'm gonna just have to post something tonight then. Get over it. Is what you're telling me.
Good.
Woohoo!
Good.
Progress.
No, I know once I do
Well,
it
yeah.
once, then like I'll be like, whatever. It's just doing it once. I think it also is the fact that
I also like had experience with it. Like I broke that seal with Step Bros. Like I was
yeah,
posting that shit on
yeah.
my personal
Yeah.
shit all the time. Like I probably was super nervous the first one. But
Well,
yeah, like
yeah,
once I posted the first one, I was just like every day, just like posting them.
yeah.
You know?
And I think too, tied with yes, once I do the first one, I'll be fine. But also that I'm typically one that doesn't really post that much on social media.
Oh, me either.
Like there's people that post every day at some point, and I could go a week, 2 weeks without posting anything at all, maybe
I'll go
even longer
months.
than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't posted anything on my Instagram, I think, since my birthday in December, and it's
Yeah.
now what, March 7th. So
Yeah.
it's been 3+ months. So
Yeah.
I think that is an aspect to it too. But regardless, I just need to get over it. Period.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's definitely with these types of pages though too, like these are the pages that you're gonna have to be posting often to kind of be
Yeah.
able to like promote that, give out the content, things like that. So it's like use the other page for when you post a lot. This can just be for like a here and there, even just like to promote it while you start out or just to give yourself a shout out on your Cooking Depot page from your personal.
Well, while you said the name, I haven't given myself a shout out yet. So if you want to follow me, Instagram and TikTok is both cookin.depot, cookin without the G, .depot on both Instagram and TikTok.
I didn't do mine. Go make sure you go look at my Etsy shop, Anything Cricket Co.
And then I think I just had one other thing that I want to say. What was it? So another goal is that I want to make a plan for what I want my next DIY project to be in the next week. I got a couple of ideas. I think I want it to be to make my coffee table since I already got a lot of footage from originally. I was trying to DIY it and then I tore it out, which is like awesome content though, because like that's real life. It's like I tried to DIY this and it was an epic fail. And here's how I'm going to do it again to make it so it's not a fail.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I want to do next. But in the next week, I just want to pick something. If it's that, if it's something else, I just want to pick what my next DIY project is going to be.
Yeah, I mean, you could even like do like a part 1 of my like what I thought it was going to be and then like the actual part 1 of what it actually is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like show what you're doing differently and kind of compare and contrast type thing.
Yeah. But I think that's it. So, do you guys have any other
Alrighty.
questions for me?
I don't have anything else, Kyle.
No.
All right.
Alrighty. So that does it for today's episode of the Three Path Profits podcast. We want to thank you guys for listening and encourage to leave comments or questions just to help us keep improving moving forward. We'll be posting episodes every Friday, so please stay tuned and make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any episodes or any important updates we have for you. If you enjoyed the podcast, tell a friend or family we think that they would enjoy or you think they would enjoy. Also, be sure to check out our social media pages, TikTok and Instagram at 3.path.profits. We appreciate all of your support and we'll catch you next week.
Bye.
Peace.